Today seem everyone sleeping and I don't know. Well, let's see. I hope there come more people during the event.
Oops. Hello everyone, welcome.
There you are.
Thank you for joining us. Let's see who we've got. Aneka, Jolie, NM, Socrates, and Ginger. Welcome, thank you for joining us. I'm a little bit unprepared today because I was looking for something and I kind of waylaid it. And now I've put something else down and I've waylaid that. A poem for a friend. You're every inch a lady, you're every inch a queen, you're every inch a goddess, but this world is so mean. It allowed me to meet you 20 years too late. I would have asked you out on a special date. Your body is so beautiful, your face, it is a treat. Any man would willingly fall down at your feet. I cannot tell you openly of the things that I feel, but in the things I write, you know that I'm real. You know that it is real. Your smile, it lightens up every gloomy day, and when I hear your sweet voice, you know I long to stay. So if you have a poem that you would like to share, by all means, please feel free to do so. Next reader, please. I am me if you need to read, or you'd like to read, and we will let you read. You don't have to be a poet to share poetry, but you do have to have a love for the spoken word and a willingness to share, and the more you share, the more you'll get out of the event. Next reader, please. Dark eyes. Dark eyes they fixed upon my soul, and burning deep I lost control. That stare it held me fixed and true, that stare it came from inside you. Dark eyes that bid my heart to fall, dark eyes that make me feel so small, dark eyes which held me in its power, dark eyes were my true desire. I could not move away from you, you had control, what could I do? Your eyes they pierced deep within, and held my gaze fixed by a grin. Dark eyes that held me in its gaze, dark eyes that left me in a daze. I could not look away from you, what did you want for me to do? Dark eyes that burn within my own, dark eyes that said I'm not alone, dark eyes that say you have control, dark eyes your love is in my soul, dark eyes that cause my heart to skip, and somersault with every flip. When love is blind and love is true, dark eyes know that I love you. If you have a poem that you would like to share, by all means, please feel free to do so. Next reader, please. A little history. In 1997, my mum died, and an elderly Australian lady suggested that I start writing poetry to help me get over the loss of my mum. Now, I'd never written anything before. The first poem I wrote was to see how I would take to it, and that poem was called A Poem for a Friend. The next poem I wrote was called Dark Eyes, and I passed it to one of the young ladies at work, and she took rather offence to it, so the foreman said, don't give her any more poetry. But the next poem, poem 3, which should have been poem 1, was the one that I wrote for my late mum. The fleeting moments. The fleeting moments that we share will stay within my soul. Until we meet on death's dark shore, my love will never grow cold. My heart it grieves now for thee, because you've passed away. But one day soon we'll meet again. Oh, what a joyous day. The love you shared with me is still within my heart. The wisdom you bestowed on me gave me a brand new start. You formed the very character that made me what I am. I will always love you because you are my mum. Although I cannot be with you one day soon I will, I thank you most of all for the things that you have done. You gave my life true meaning and showed me who I am, the son of Alice Watkins. Now I'm a full-grown man. The words I want to share are hidden in my heart. The love I want to show to you has been there from the start. I cannot print the meaning because it lies within. I do not have the answer now why you had to go again. You left us when we needed you to be a loving friend, and although you've gone away, we know it's not the end. We know that you are with us through thick and through thin, and whatever life throws at us, your love is still within. And that's the fleeting moments that I shared for my mum. So if you have a poem that you'd like to share, by all means, please feel free to do so. Next reader, please.
I did send you a note.
Okay, Jolie. Because I had you already in the I am window, I didn't see it. Yes, you can read. The mic is yours.
Thank you. This is a poem by Leah Knowles. It's called Greece, Land of Legends. In this land of legend, gilded with fundamental wisdom and philosophy, principles were forged, hammered out as if by Hephaestus himself. Excuse me if I mispronounce some of these names. Passed down or channeled at Delphi through the navel of the cosmos to insulate and inform enlightened beings. Names of weight and stature emerged: Thales, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, Pythagoras, and from this crucible of what endures in Western politics, mores, societal institutions, culture of the territory of the civilized mind was fertilized, cultivated, delivered as if brought down by Hermes to the hallowed ground of the Acropolis, where nutrient-rich it seeped through this rock of ages, impregnating courts of law and justice, halls of logic and reason, fields of endeavor and toil. Tumbled pillars and pedestals abound here on the sacred Isle of Delos, as elsewhere consecrated, venerated, well beyond the Peloponnese, well beyond Ionian and Aegean shores, as they appear to have been since the birth of time, rooted in Gaia's earth, ever since Olympian gods revealed to the molded clay of mankind their realms of influence. Ancient fragments came filtering down that a modern world at times seemed intent to ignore, sorely testing the power of Heracles, god of oracles, divine protector of mankind, of the destitute and vulnerable, the homeless, the refugee, fomenting the duty of humanism and generosity of spirit. And so the trust of the ancient world still lies with us across these green hills and plains, these gem-like isles. As I wander through the forests of oak and pine in the footsteps of legends, to the clunking sound of goat bells along overgrown paths of Ithaca, I ponder my spiritual journey and wearily climb vertiginous zigzag paths to reach towering pinnacles, the sky-born monasteries of Meteora. I hear the brass sementron hammered, summoning the faithful to vespers, resounding across the fertile plains of Thessaly, resonating around the splendor of the theatrical steps of Epidaurus, beyond the Minoan palaces trodden then as now by the wealthy, beyond the party of islands of Mykonos and Corfu, tasting the fruits of Dionysus, tasting the Mediterranean sun that links you closer to the classical world. Echoes carry beyond the valley of nightmares on Samos, the unchained fruitless shores of Lesbos and Chios, all the drama and tragedy of humanity coming home, and where beauty of bursting pink bougainvillea seems bitter irony. Moonlight is reflecting off the black Aegean Sea, and in marveling at the unrivaled elegance of Santorini's walls and domes, I reflect that here, the same gods, once swathed in mysticism and majesty, even on the backs of enslaved mankind, on the dramatic lessons of Sophocles and Euripides, even on the conclusions of great teachers and thinkers, even in this land of myth and legend, an empire founded in war, connivance and conquest, they failed to secure Atlantis. And that was by Leah Knowles. And I hope I didn't mess it up too badly.
Thank you, Jolie, for sharing that with us. Okay, Ginger, the mic is yours.
Saber, why can't I hear you?
Sorry, my mic was above my head. Okay, thank you, Jolie, for sharing that with us. Ginger, the mic is yours.
Okay, I have three kind of short ones. The first one's I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but a Rubbin. Agnition love, such like a dove, from up above, get butterflies. Feeling happy, a bit yappy, not too shabby, being alive, warm with embrace, radiant face, sweet interlace, spirit revive. The second one's it's like a haiku, but extra funny. A bird had whistled in the morning today, as bloody awful as me. And the third one is a cascade. I contemplate on us, I look to you, I expose myself rawly open for you, to do what you will, have at it. Trust in the aspect of a relationship. Communication is the key for a relationship. Love is a must for a relationship. I contemplate on us. Dreams are what I aspire towards. Adventures is what I should seek. The process of creating is mind-blowing. I look to you. I give you my thoughts within a text. I give you my emotions in an art piece. I give you myself expressed in a poem. I expose myself rawly open to you, for you. Here is my spirit. Here is my mind. Here is my body. To do what you will, have at it.
I'm assuming you've finished, Ginger. If not, you've dropped out. Okay, Aneka, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Saber. Can anybody hear me good?
Yes, we hear you good.
Good evening and welcome to Sparta. For those I don't know, I will read a poem that I wrote a couple years ago, and it is a poem written for my daughter, and it's called Madeline, and it goes like this. Beloved, her eyes painted in the color of mine, and those tiny fingers that just recently learned how to hold a teaspoon. Beloved, the smile on her face and pinkish, perfectly formed cheeks with sweet dimples. Beloved, the one I see, talking to invisible fairy, sitting in a crowd of little ponies and bears, reminding me of my own invisible childhood friend. Beloved, that little heart that beats in the rhythm of mine, and every bone and every sleepless night of 1918 since you were born. And it was a poem for my daughter, and thank you. And the second one is not mine, but it is a poet that I really like, and especially this poem. It's called Bluebird, and it is a poem by Charles Bukowski. There is a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I am too tough for him. I say, stay in there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There is a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him and inhale cigarette smoke, and the wars and the bartenders and the grocery clerks never know that he's in there. There is a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I am too tough for him. I say, stay down. Do you want to mess me up? You want to screw up the works? You want to blow my book sales in Europe? There is a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I am too clever. I only let him out at night, sometimes, when everybody's asleep. I say, I know that you're there, so don't be sad. Then I put him back, but he's singing a little in there. I haven't quite let him die, and we sleep together like that with our secret pact. And it is nice enough to know, and it is nice enough to make a man weep, but I don't weep, do you? And it was Charles Bukowski, the Bluebird. Thanks. Back to you, Saber.
Thank you, Aneka, for sharing that with us. If anybody has a poem that they would like to share, by all means, please feel free to do so. There's no one in the queue, so if you have a poem you want to share, this is a golden opportunity to read and share. You don't have to be a poet, but you do have to have a love for the spoken word and a willingness to share, and the more you share, the more you'll get out of the event. A smile that melted my heart. Okay, Jolie, you can go after me.
Thank you.
I was walking down a corridor back to my workplace, and just as I got level with the door in the corridor, it suddenly opened, and she stepped out of a room, and I was instantly in awe of her beauty. I was taken aback and mesmerized. It was but a moment, and yet time seemed to stand still, and all my heart could say was, wow! I have never ever touched her, yet she would become my muse. Where does this spark come from? When it suddenly ignites, we can't say why, it just happens. It was as if by magic. She wasn't there, then suddenly she is. And yes, you are mesmerized and bewitched, albeit for a moment, when you see this auburn-haired beauty for the first time. Her smile takes your breath away. She can melt your heart away without even a word being spoken. Just a smile, and that smile lights up your life. I couldn't get her out of my head or out of my heart. And that's a smile that melted my heart by Saberman Carter. Okay, Jolie, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Saber, and hello to everybody that came in while I was reading. This is A Night at Corfu by Aubrey Thomas DeVere. A hoary gleam through the boughs prevailing tells me how near the ocean lies. Here, caged in many a waveless lake by cypressed ridge and shadowy break, far off, the nightingale is wailing. More near the watery grot replies. The forest growths are rocked and dandled by airs with midnight odors faint, soft, separate airs, or feathered grasses that pass me often and repass, like naked feet of nymphs unsandaled, that reach each lawn and alley quaint. No voice is heard of mortal creature, no voice, yet I am not alone. Nausicaa and her virgin train still haunt the woodland, skirt the main, and deck for me with human feature each glimmering branch and white-browed stone. When with those maids the exile sported, the fireflies lit as now the glen. The rose its blush today, which gave and blossomed to the aspiring wave, descends from one old ocean courted on the same cliff, it may be then. I see not now those hills whose summit in August keep their ermined robes, but feel their freshness, know that round they gird the steely gulfs profound, with feet that mock the seaman's plummets, and foreheads crowned with starry globes. But see, vast beams divide the heaven, the orange groves their blossoms show. Over yon kindling deep the moon will lash her snowy coursers soon. Now, by her brow the east is riven, and now the west returns the glow. That was A Night at Corfu by Aubrey Thomas DeVere.
Thank you, Jolie. If anybody has a poem that they would like to share, by all means, please feel free to do so. Next reader, please. Yes, that's all right. You want to try it out, you can do. Welcome, Autumn Blitz. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Hello, the mic is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Well, okay. There's a little noise, I think. Oh no. Yeah. I will share a poem of Cesar Vallejo, one of the most popular poets in Peru. There's a poem that I like it most. I found the translation because the poem is in Spanish, but I will try. Bloodstone on top of a white stone. I shall die in Paris, in a stone, on a day I already remember. I shall die in Paris, it does not bother me. Doubtless on a Thursday like today, in autumn. It shall be a Thursday, because today, Thursday, as I put down these lines, I have set my shoulders to the evil. Never like today have I turned and ahead my whole journey to the waste where I am alone. Cesar Vallejo is dead. They struck him. all of them, though he did nothing to them. They hit him hard with a stick and hard also with the end of a rope. Witnesses are the Thursday, the shoulder burns, the loneliness, the rain, and the roads. So, thank you.
Thank you, AL Angel, for sharing that with us. Okay. Aneka, the mic is yours. Aneka, the mic is yours.
Yes, I've been talking with my mic off.
I've done that before now. Okay,
We call that doing a saber.
or doing a Jolie.
No,
Doing a jolly.
Jolie talks with the mic on when she shouldn't. You talk with the mic off when you should.
There is this part that is really my most favorite one. And I will read now. Those who know me also know which one, but I will say it, of course. It is Pablo Neruda, a Chilean poet, and the poem I will read is called If You Forget Me. I want you to know one thing. You know how this is. If I look at the crystal moon, at the red branch of the slow autumn at my window, if I touch near the fire the impaled ash or the wrinkled body of the rock, everything carries me to you, as if everything that exists, aromas, lights, metals, were little boats that sail toward those islands of yours that wait for me. Well, now, if little by little you stop loving me, I shall stop loving you little by little. If suddenly you forget me, do not look for me, for I shall already have forgotten you. If you think it's long and mad, the wind of banners that passes through my life, and you decide to leave me at the shore of the heart where I have roots, remember that on that day, at that hour, I shall lift my arms and my roots will set off to seek another land. But if each day, each hour, you feel that you are destined for me, with implacable sweetness, if each day a flower climbs up to your lips to seek me, oh my love, my own, in me all that fire is repeated, in me nothing is extinguished or forgotten. My love feeds on your love, beloved, and as long as you live, it will be in your arms, without leaving mine. And it was my Pablo Neruda. If you forget me, back to you, Saber.
Thank you, Aneka, for sharing that with us. Okay, Jolie, the mic is yours.
I didn't ask this time. That was from before. But I do have another one. This is a short one.
I was assuming you had one.
Yeah, I have one. Oh, well, that one's really long. But I have another one later, too. But this one is by Oscar Wilde, and it's called Greece. The sea was sapphire-colored, and the sky burned like a heated opal through the air. We hoisted sail, the wind was blowing fair for the blue lands that to the eastward lie. From the steep prow, I marked with quickening eye Zakynthos, every olive grove and creek, Ithaca's cliff, Lycian's snowy peak, and all the flower-strewn hills of Arcady, the flapping of the sail against the mast, the ripple of the water on the side, the ripple of girls' laughter at the stern, the only sounds, when 'gan the west to burn, and a red sun upon the seas to rise, I stood upon the soil of Greece at last. Back to you, Saber.
Thank you, Julie, for sharing that with us. Okay. This is a poem that was written by Lord Byron after swimming from Cetos to Abydos. If in the moon of dark December, Lender, who was nightly wont, what maid will not tell the tale remember, to cross the stream, broad Helen's strand? If when the wintry tempest roared, he sped to hero, nothing loath, and thus of old thy current poured, fair Venus, how I pity both. For me, degenerate modern wretch, though in the genial month of May my dripping limbs I faintly stretch, and think I've done a feat today, but since he crossed the rapid tide, according to the doubtful story, to woo, and Lord knows what beside, and swam for love, as I for glory, 'twere hard to say who fared the best. Sad mortals, thus the gods still plague you. He lost his labour, I my jest. For he was drowned, and I have the argue. So if you have a poem that you would like to share, by all means please feel free to do so. Next reader please. There's nobody in the queue, so if you have a poem that you would like to share, by all means please feel free to do so. Next reader please. To Thomas More by Lord Byron. My boat is on the shore, my bark is on the sea, but before I go, Tom Moore, here's a double health to thee. Here's a sigh for those who love me, and a smile for those who hate, and whatever skies above me, is a heart for every fate. Though the ocean roars around me, yet if still shall bear me on, though a desert should surround me, it hath springs that may be won. 'Twere the last drop in the well, as I gasped upon the brink, ere my fainting spirit fell, 'tis to thee that I would drink. With that water, as this wine, the libation I would pour, should be peace with thine and mine, and a health to thee, Tom Moore. So, Ginger, you have another poem. Ginger, the mic is yours. Ginger, if you're reading, we can't hear you. I guess she's not turned a mic on. Okay.
Would you like me to read one while I am Ginger?
Okay, Jola, the mic is yours.
Thank you. This one is by Adam Hollingsworth. Ode to Ancient Greece. Oh, ancient Greece, how much you have filled my soul. The ascetics of your kind are more than satisfied by your beautiful eyes. The epics of grace, Odysseus and Helen's sublime face, the war between two cities, and a tale of returning to beauty, the dialectic of Socrates' trial, the Christ before Christ on clouds much higher, the dialogues devoted to supreme justice by Plato's divine universals, Aristotle's poetics devoted to the epics, and particulars brought by the golden ethicals. Sappho and her poetry, Herodotus and a tale of histories, the land of marble devoted to democracy, the Spartan grandeur, and Athenian cultured society. The Oedipus complex brought to Sophocles, vengeful acts by Medea for adultery. I sing joy to all the tragedies, Aeschylus, and the dance of the Eumenides, the Minoan society, and the island of Crete, Greek culture, and so much to keep. Athena, the bright-eyed goddess of wisdom, came of Zeus, our lord of Jupiter. Juno and her rivals in the kingdom brought us tales of jealousy for the future. The pre-Socrates of philosophy, Thales, Heraclitus, and Anaximenes, the golden verses of Pythagoras, and the sophist named Protagoras. Aristotle's pupil brought grandeur to the dream. Alexander the Great extended the means, the logic, the literature, and the home of philosophy, mythology, and the tragedies, histories of epic poetry, the things I have been and will always be. I will always remember the glory that was Greece. Back to you, Saber.
I think Ginger crashed, and she's...
That was probably it. Yeah.
So if anybody has a poem that they would like to share, by all means, please feel free to do so. Next reader, please. The problem with ancient Greek names is they are hard to spell and hard to speak sometimes. I know I've got some in my inventory, but I don't know where they are because I can't spell the names. So if you have a poem that you would like to share, by all means, please feel free to do so. Okay, this is a modern poem. In that sense, it's called The Foreman. He scurries around the workshop with his little fat ugly frame. His bald head shines in the sunlight as much as it does in the rain. To everyone who knows him, he is a flaming pain. His constant argy-bargy is driving us insane. He creeps about the storehouse every single day. We wish he'd take his money and bloody go away. He hides down the racks to jump out on our backs, to try and catch us out with his little fat hairy snout. He walks with a stoop, and the hump on his back is where he puts his awful hat. If he reads this poem, I'll get the sack. We all think that he is a prat. You can always tell what he has been, because the poisoned dwarf turned all the lads mean. To work with him, it is a sin, the state this warehouse is now in. So look around when you pass by. If you look hard, you might just try to see the humpty-back foreman of the factory. With a little luck he'll go away, but don't hold your breath, or he'll dock your pay. Ginger! Have you got a poem you want to share?
Yeah, I just found these and I love them. This one's called Not by Erin Hansen. It says, "You are not your age, nor the size of the clothes you wear. You are not a weight or the color of your hair. You are not your name or the dimples in your cheeks. You are all the books you read and all the words you speak. You are your croaky morning voice and the smiles you try to hide. You're the sweetness in your laughter and every tear you've cried. You're the songs you sing so loudly when you know you're all alone. You are the places that you've been to and the one that you call home. You are the things that you believe in and the people that you love. You're in the photos of the group, and the future of your dreams. You're made of so much beauty, but it seems that you forgot when you decided that you were defined by all the things you're not."
Thank you, Ginger, for sharing that with us. If anybody has a poem that they would like to share, by all means, please feel free to do so. The Builders by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. All are architects of fate, working in these walls of time, some with massive deeds and great, some with ornaments of rhyme. Nothing useless is or low. Each thing in its place is best, and what seems but idle show strengthens and supports the rest. For the structure that we raise, time is with the material filled. Our todays and yesterdays are the blocks which we build. True shapes and fashions these, leave no yearning gaps between. Think not because sees such things will remain unseen. In the elder days of art, builders wrought with great care each minute and unseen part, for gods see everywhere. Let us do our work as well, both unseen and the seen. Make the house where gods may dwell beautiful, entire and clean, else our lives are incomplete. Standing in these walls of time, broken stairways where the feet stumble as they seek to climb. Build today, then strong and sure, with a firm and ample base, and ascending and secure shall tomorrow find its place. Thus alone can we attain to those turrets where the eye sees the world as one vast plain. and one boundless reach the sky. That's Builders by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. If you have a poem that you would like to share, by all means, please feel free to do so. Next reader, please. Jolie, the mic is yours.
Thank you. Apollo's poem is so beautiful, and it reminded me of another poem, this one by James Kavanagh, and it's called You Are Light and Love. One second, let me just stretch it out here. Here we go. You are light and love. No matter what echoes have said or are saying still, of parents sealed in their own tomb of childhood pain, of spouses spewing self-hatred in gathered vials of poisonous words, of a guilt-producing God made carefully in the image of angry and self-loathing men, of authorities damning, neighbors ranting, hated jobs failing as an invitation to creativity and joy. Despite the litany of self-appointed critics, whose judgment has no valid currency, you are light and love. No matter what your ruminations said or are saying still, of the hoarded self-contempt that mercilessly condemns a frightened, struggling child within, of judgments inherited, blame assumed, and sentence passed, of broken marriages, angry offspring, and hidden loneliness that never leaves, of children gone awry or parents distant or disappointed, despite resolutions discarded, promises broken, and lifelong lies finally passing as truth. You are light and love. God's own child, a unique and wondrous design worthy of all reverence and respect, deserving above all your most precious love that gradually inflames your entire being, so that the light and love you finally know you are shines forth to illuminate a weary world and its wounded children with the reflected love and light that glows within your own soul. And that was by James Kavanagh. Back to you, Sam.
Thank you, Jolie. If anybody has a poem that they would like to share, it doesn't have to be your own poetry. It can be a famous favourite poem. We would love to hear it. Does anybody have a poem that they would like to share? Don't worry if you've never read before. We won't bite. We won't grab you by the scruff of the neck and say, "Yeah, that's not very good." But until you read, we don't know what's good or what's bad. And we would love to hear your words that you have to share, that you have written, and that fills your heart. Okay, this is called Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold. Now, I thought it was about Dover Beach from World War II, but it's not. The sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits of the French coast, and light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand glimmering and fast out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window, sweet is the night air, only from the long line of spray, where the sea meets the moon blanched land. Listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling. at their return up the high strand, begin and cease, and then again begin, with tremendous cadence, slow, and bring the eternal note of sadness. In Socrates long ago, heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea, the sea of faith, was once too at the full and round earth's shore, lay like the folds of bright girdle flung, but now I only hear its melancholy long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind down the vast edges drear, and the naked shingle of the world. Our love, let us be true to one another, for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy nor love nor light, nor certitude nor peace, nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, sweep with confused alarms and struggles and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. And that is Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold. Okay, Aneka, the mic is yours.
Thank you, and thank you for awesome reading, as always, Saber. I will read one poem by me and one poem by Gabriela Mistral, who is an Chilean poet, the first Latin American to receive the Nobel Prize in Literature. I will start with Gabriela poem. It is called Decalogue of the Artist. And I keep forgetting to paste on local chat, but this event today is being recorded by our Spartan priest, Socrates. It is on stream. I will I will post later link so you can hear your readings there if you like. And the Decalogue of the Artist. I will just paste it this time. Ale Angel is not native. Copy. Okay. Decalogue of the Artist. First, you shall love beauty, which is the shadow of God over the universe. Second, there is no godless art, although you love not the Creator, you shall bear witness to him creating his likeness. Third, you shall create beauty, not to excite the senses, but to give sustenance to the soul. 4. You shall never use beauty as a pretext for luxury and vanity, but as a spiritual devotion. 5. You shall not seek beauty at carnival or fair, or offer your work there, for beauty is virginal, and it is not to be found at carnival or fair. 6. Beauty shall rise from your heart in song. I think I will be sick soon. I'm losing my voice. Beauty shall rise from your heart in a song, and you shall be the first to be purified. 7. The beauty you create shall be known as compassion and shall console the hearts of men. 8. You shall bring forth your work as a mother brings forth her child out of the blood of your heart. 9. Beauty shall not be an opiate that puts you to sleep, but a strong wine that fires you to action. For if you fail to be a true man or true woman, you will fail to be an artist. And 10. Each act of creation shall leave you humble, for it is never as great as your dream and always inferior to that most marvelous dream of God, which is nature. And it was the wonderful poem by Gabriela Mistral. And now a less wonderful poem, but also good from me. And it's called Deception. Thank you for your applauses, guys. I hope I don't have COVID-19. But it feels like my throat is itching me a bit. That's why I said maybe I be sick. Away from him there is another sky, and no lies spoken with exaltation of a peacock. No more deception, cheating, or swindling around. Away from him there is lots of bird songs, overlooked sunsets, rainbows from across the border that are inside of me now and then. But most of all, a very far away from him, is peacefulness and tranquility to be found, in which I selfishly dive and look at my soul reflection in the heart of rose that lays now in my own hands and is pure and have no defects and never wrong anyone. And I walk among the trees with autumn song on my lips. My arms are spread, I feel the wind, and I am me, peace of mind liberated into a heart of rose away from him. And it was my poem written this year, 21st September 2021. Thanks. I have issues reading English today. Back to you, Saber.
Thank you, Aneka, for sharing that with us. Okay, Jolie, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Saber. This is a poem that was sent to me by Apollos, and she asked me to read it for her. I think it's called Find Time, and it is by Yanis Ritsos. There's another name written above it, but it's in script and I can't read it. Find time for thought. This is the source of strength. Find time for the game. This is the secret of eternal youth. Find time for reading. This is the foundation of knowledge. Find time to be friendly. This is the road to happiness. Find time for dreams. They will pull your vehicle to the stars. Find time to love and be loved in return. This is the privilege of the gods. Find time to look around you. It's too short a day to be selfish. Find time to laugh. This is the music of the soul. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you, Apollos. Back to you, Saber.
Thank you, Julie, for sharing that with us. Opportunity by Edward R. Sill. This I beheld, or dreamed in a dream. There spread a cloud of dust along a plain, and underneath the cloud or in it raged a furious battle, and men yelled, and swords shocked upon swords, and shields. A prince's banner waved, then staggered backward, helmed by foes. A cavern hung along the battle edge, and though I had a sword of keen steel, that blue blade that the king's son bears, but this blunt thing, he snapped and flung it from his hand, and lowering crept away and left the field. Then came the king's son, wounded, sore bestead and weaponless, and saw the broken sword hilt buried in the dry sodden earth, and ran and snatched it, and with battle shout lifted afresh, he hewed his enemy down and saved a great cause that heroic day. That's Opportunity by Edward R. Sill. If anybody has one last poem that they would like to share, we would love to hear it. You don't have to be a poet to share poetry, but you do have to have a love for the spoken word and a willingness to share. Ginger, the mic is yours. You have the last poem for the event.
Thank you. This was posted by You the Flying Almond 3 years ago. He says, this poem by the Greek poet Caphi reminded me of Marcus Aurelius' quote, the soul is dyed with the color of the thoughts, and it's called Good and Bad Weather. It does not bother me if outside winter spreads fog, cloud, and cold. Spring is within me, true joy. Laughter is a sunray, all pure gold. There is no other garden like love. The warmth of song melts all the snows. And then it says, what good is it that outside spring sends up flowers and sows greenness? I have winter within me when the heart hurts and the side blots out the most brilliant sun. If you have sorrow, May resembles December. Tears are colder than the cold snow.
Thank you, Ginger. That brings us to the end of the event. Stay safe, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you later. We will be back here on Sunday for another hour of poetry. Okay. Thank you for everyone for coming and joining us. Stay safe, have fun, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Or if you're in Australia, Wednesday.
Thanks, Sabra and Jolly, for making this event again. It is awesome, guys, for doing this like a clock. Where is Jolly? I need to look at her. She is in another toga. For every event she wear another toga. Maybe I should too. I will send. Judy, if you talk.
You're wearing a different one today.
Yeah, but this one is old. It is from 2017. It is still mesh, and yeah, I like it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm really
what-
tired.
What time is next poetry event that Sabra host today?
1 p.m.
I will try to come to be there. Hey.
Yes, we will be at Nirvana, at the Great Tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Up in the
Okay, guys. See you later.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Jersey. Goodbye, everybody. Mallory, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for coming. Hey, Saber, I will meet you at home.
Yes, dear. Home, James.
Bye, everybody.
Bye for now.